Thursday, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on Weather Center Live. I'm meteorologist Jen Carfagno.
And I'm meteorologist Chris Warren. It's Thursday and the weekend right around the corner, getting very close here, but severe storms certainly could cause some major problems.
Throughout much of Southern California, you don't worry about rain on too many days of the year, right? You don't even worry about the weather. But today you need to, because we may even see some thunderstorms in the area. You know, let's take a look at Los Angeles and a forecast for us. It's May, and we don't often have anything more than 0 in our forecast rainfall amounts, but we're going to pick up maybe closer to a ½ inch today, closer to a ¼ inch tomorrow, and then we're going to dry out, of course, by the weekend. But down towards San Diego, we've got better chances of seeing more than a ½ inch, both today and tomorrow, and overnight too. There's going to be some rain in between as well. So here's what's going to happen for us. We've got a widespread area of 1+ inch worth of rain over the next 2 days here across Southern California. A couple of showers to start. There may be a few thunderstorms out there, and we are going to see some Sierra snow, and down even towards the San Gabriels, the chance for some snow as well. Yes, it's a little postseason for us, right? We expect the winter rains. This is a spring rain, and we will get it here with some cooler temperatures as well. Here comes the bigger batch of rain as we get you into Friday early morning. We'll see more rain again, perhaps for the morning commute. Not today. LA, your commute is fine, but tomorrow morning that will be a different story, with showers out there all the way down through San Diego. And we will be watching for the rain continue to move on in through the morning into the afternoon today. So the ride home today could be a wet one as well. We've got the showers out there on the move in. Here's the big dip in the jet stream. And Chris, the interesting thing is this rain in Southern California, the energy behind it is going to feed right back into what we're expecting in the plains back in the forecast this weekend. So let's look at Texas and Oklahoma and Arkansas. More than a foot or 1.5 feet of rain fell right along the Red River Valley area over this past weekend into this week, last 7 days, actually throughout the month of May. So let's go ahead and take a look at the areas that we are now concerned about for thunderstorms, and that's here across Texas, possibly again today. Let's take.
This is Weather Center Live, and Jen, when you look at this, it's easy to imagine that parts of Texas have picked up double-digit rainfall this week.
I mean, these scenes are amazing for a spot that's been in exceptional drought for about 5 years, right? It fell in an area that needed the rain, and although you saw problems like this, the flooding, the rain in general was a good thing for the area. Ana Rodriguez is at Lake Ray Roberts, north of Dallas, where water levels are up more than ½ foot in just a week. Ana, thank you. And you could really hear in the voices of those men, you could hear how elated they were over this rainfall finally.
And just seeing some of that green.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Well, that doesn't happen in a day over. Really, you know, you won't get the grass to grow back in just a couple of days rain. So there has been some steady progress, but all of a sudden, I think that's what filled up some of the reservoirs with this big deluge that we had.
And this is Lake Ray Roberts right here. All
right, so this is where Ana is, and you can see the big improvement in just a couple of days. I mean, we go back to last Wednesday, a week later, and up significantly. So drought monitor, let's talk about that. And it should be, here we go, moving along. Big improvement since December, Chris.
Beginning of the year, right before New Year's, you see this red, this is either extreme or exceptional. So the worst of the worst drought. It doesn't get any worse than that. That's the most intense drought. But anywhere you see color, it's abnormally dry or in drought.
Right, exactly. And then we're going to fast forward this and go into, you know, through the spring, over through the winter, through the spring to now. And really, we were whittling away at it little bit by little bit. There wasn't a lot of improvement. And all of a sudden, big improvement.
Yeah, big improvement as of now. The drought monitor came out today, but it was 2 days ago when they started compiling the numbers.
But
so any rainfall between the weekend rain is the big thing.
Yeah,
yes.
And I think that's one of the key parts. You know, the thing is, some of the reservoirs though back across the areas that are still in drought are still not at capacity or even close to half capacity. So there's still issues out there.
But you can also see how this goes along. This is all of the rain. So all the color on this map shows you where a lot of rain has come down, the oranges and the reds. Now the oranges and the reds here shows you the drought. So you have these oranges over those oranges, less orange here.
All right, well, we're going to talk more about this drought monitor coming up next. We've got the guy who authors this drought monitor to talk to us about what goes into it, we're thinking about it, and what it means for us as we look forward to. With us here on Weather Center Live, I'm Jen Carfagno.
And I'm Chris Warren. We saw that tornado right there, and we are looking at the potential for more tornadoes in the next few days, and the threat is up there again, similar to last weekend.
Yeah, the pattern is very similar. I mean, you look back at the past few weekends. It was a scary scene in Southwest Florida yesterday when lightning strikes 2 roofers working on a house in Bonita Springs. Witnesses say the bolt hit them just before they started to climb down a ladder after hearing thunder, striking one of them directly in the head. All right, so first of all, let's look at the radar from yesterday afternoon. There were some active thunderstorms out there in southwestern Florida. Of course, you can see them moving over from east to west. Let's go into the area, though, right around Bonita Springs. And you know, there were several lightning strikes here. It wasn't tremendous lightning, but obviously it was enough. And he heard the thunder, attempted to get down. But there it is, that one lightning strike.
It just takes one. It just takes the one. And the thing is with lightning, part of what makes it so scary is that you know they come with thunderstorms, but exactly where the strike will be can be somewhat unpredictable.
And not to mention there's different ways that lightning can affect you as well. Lightning can strike you. All right, so the main discharge, if you have a direct strike, that's when the main discharge channel travels over and through a person. That's most common if you're out in an open field, in an open area.
So that's a direct strike.
Right. All right, so we go to the side flash. This is a little more common, actually, when lightning strikes a taller object nearby, like a tree, and then a portion of the current jumps over to the person.
So not a direct, but a side flash.
Exactly. All right, and then we go to the ground current. This is when energy travels outward, you know, from a strike across the ground. This is the cause of most lightning deaths and injuries. So again, you're outside, lightning hits the ground, and you think you're safe because you didn't get struck directly, but you still will get that current.
Right, but it's going to be a little bit more diffused, but regardless, it's still lightning.
Exactly.
Still getting shocked.
How about conduction? That's when lightning, of course, traveling great distances, especially through wires and plumbing and other metal surfaces, and you get the current and right through that.
And you have to be careful when you're inside because of that.
Because of that, exactly. All right, and then the streamers, where a point separates from the main channel discharges even without making a full connection to the cloud here, and this might surprise folks as well. All right, so coming up, we're going to talk about lightning and the latest impacts for this weekend, severe weather. You know, we saw it last weekend. We saw really just 2 reports of tornadoes yesterday in Texas, and that one was in Guthrie, Texas, back here across the western portion of Texas. We are going to be looking again this weekend and really starting tomorrow for all of the triggers coming in place to get the air rising and to get thunderstorms going and to get severe weather going. So we look at the cold front, we look at the warm front, the low pressure, and then we look at the dry line. And this is often a trigger for thunderstorms that end up turning tornadic out here when all of the ingredients are in place. You've got warm, hot, dry air that butts up against warm, moist air. This ends up lifting up this warm, moist air, and that's one of the ways that we get the thunderstorms going. I mean, we look for many different things in the atmosphere. We look for where is the moisture. We look for where are the triggers to get the air rising. And so this is going to be one of the triggers. And this is how the dry line actually sets up. It acts just like a front. It's a front between different kinds of air, or different air masses. And so what happens is you get the air that's forced up, and there's so much forcing to get that air rising that eventually you break through the cap of warm, dry air, and these thunderstorms can really grow explosively into the atmosphere and up with height. So as we look at the forecast ahead for tomorrow, we will be looking for the dry line to see where it sets up. And we'll look at the dew points to find it. We'll see a lot of warm, moist air out ahead of the front. Dew points will be in the upper 60s, close to 70s, much drier air behind it. And again, that will be the trigger for thunderstorms that we will watch for that tornado potential. We've got Torcons out already for you tomorrow, 3 in central Kansas and western Oklahoma. We're also watching Saturday, and we will watch the dry line again on Saturday as well. Again, you'll see all of that warm, moist air surging northward all the way up into portions of the upper Midwest, including Minnesota. But you can see back across New Mexico and even parts of West Texas, Colorado, that dry air will punch in and be one of the triggers for air to rise and thunderstorms to form. So we've got Torcons of 5 out already for central and eastern Nebraska, back down into Kansas. Also a 4 already in central and eastern Oklahoma. This is your Saturday Torcon. Of course, this is a severe weather situation we will continue to update you on.